I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Uh, First, give us
Okay.
your.
Please, sorry. I don't want to be addressed as a doctor or anything in Nigeria again. I'm Kenneth Okonkwo. I do not intend to go by any title again in Nigeria until such a time that Nigeria has become a new Nigeria. There is no title in Nigeria today that is honorable, by whatever name you call it, whether bishop, pastor, or doctor, or professor. I am Kenneth Okonkwo. So
Ken,
please, I want to be
Ken,
addressed like that. If you want to add anything, add Mr. so that people will know I'm a man.
Ken,
Please
you
proceed.
earned this. This is not a honorary doctorate degree. You earned it is a professional thing. So why are you throwing it on the altar? Why are you throwing it away? Something that you earned through your sweat. Why are you throwing it away on the altar of politics?
I am Kenneth Okonkwo.
Oh, okay.
Simple. You can add Mr. for people to know that I am a man.
Okay,
For now, until such a time that Nigeria becomes honorable enough to make people to be proud to bear any title.
Okay, Ken, good to see you, and welcome again to the election situation, room. Give us your view about what has happened. We have a president-elect now, as announced by the Electoral Commission. What is your pulse about it?
Well, I must be very honest. In the eyes of the law, there was no presidential election on the 25th of February, 2023. None. In the eyes of the law. And I begin to tell you about the law. The law is very clear. In section 60, as how you will conduct an election. Now, let me leave other areas, as in you bring your PVC, you'll be accredited, you vote. Let me start from after you're voting. The law says you will have to count and announce at the polling unit. Then, after announcing, he said you have to transfer the result in a manner that INEC has configured. And INEC has configured, and I'm quoting section 60, subsection 4(5) of the Electoral Act. And in clause 38 of the guidelines, INEC has made it clear it's going to be electronic transmission of the result from the polling unit, not collation center. And the Electoral Act went further in section 60, subsection 6, that anybody that willfully contravenes this has committed an offense and is liable on conviction to the sum of 500,000 naira or at least 6 months in jail. Meaning, whoever contravenes this is an internationally recognizable electoral fraudster, no longer an INEC official, because the procedure is clear. The question now is, on the 25th of February, was there a counting, an announcement, and transmission or transfer of results of the presidential election? The answer is no. And let me say something about the beavers, because Nigerians have been deceived unnecessarily. The beavers worked perfectly, correctly. There was nothing in the beavers that was wrong. Why did I say so? You had 3 elections on the same day, 25th of February. The Senate, the House of Representatives, and the presidential election. How come the beavers worked very well during accreditation? How come it worked well in the Senate? How come it worked well in the House of Representatives? And then in the presidency, you say beavers, there was a glitch. The same machine conducting 3 results, 3 elections. No, there was no glitch. What you had was deliberate willful manipulation of the divas by the INEC officials to declare Bola Tinubu the president. Nothing else. And why do I say so? In section 64 of the Electoral Act, from subsection 4, it said you cannot collect, you cannot announce when you are collating, except, in other words, use the word subject to verification and confirmation with the list of accredited voters as specified in the BVAS, and the list of the votes as recorded by the BVAS. These are the things you have to collate on. So whenever you're collating, you cannot collate or announce except you verify and confirm the correctness, the consistency of whatever you're collating or announcing with what is already in the BVAS. Now, here is the point. INEC, after 24 hours or so, said they had a glitch.
No, you can't eat there.
Meaning, that is an admission that no presidential result was transmitted from the polling unit. None. Because you cannot approbate and reprobate. You said you had a glitch, of course, which was a lie. But that is an admission that you did not transmit the result from the polling unit.
Then you have to.
Okay. When you were collating, you went into manual collation. What were you verifying it with? What were you confirming it? Because there was no uploaded result of the presidential election in the BVAS by your own admission. So eventually, you went and announced a result which Nigerians have not seen or known, because the whole idea of electronic transmission of results, the whole idea is that before collation, every Nigerian citizen would have had the result. Now, INEC was uploading in IREV portal the hard copy of every result of the polling unit, even before the electronic transmission of result. How come they did not do it this time? When we spent 305 billion naira, this is the worst election that has ever been held, presidential election. And Professor Mahmood will go down in history as the worst chief electoral officer of this nation. So it is very clear. The law was not held. What would they have done? You go back to section 24, which said if any emergency arose during the election, then INEC will suspend the election and announce another date and hold the election. So if there is a glitch that will stop you from transmitting the result, that is a fundamental issue in the law. As a matter of fact, the whole Electoral Act 2022 was predicated on the electronic transmission of result. Recall that when they amended the act and they did not include the electronic transmission of result, Nigerians unanimously rejected the act, and the president had to veto it. And the National Assembly now even gave INEC more power than electronic transmission of result. They said, we will give INEC the latitude in case in future a new technology appears, they can do it without recourse to the National Assembly. So BVAS worked perfectly well. Do you see anybody complaining about the senatorial election or House of Representatives election? How come that the presidency is what they're complaining? Because there was no election as long as the presidential election was concerned. Because anything you don't do in accordance with the law presumes you a criminal. So what is remaining is for all those INEC officials that were involved in this fraud, from Professor Mahmood to be arrested, investigated, and prosecuted, and sent to jail. Do you know that today, they have not shown us the IREV portal that has all the results. So what they are planning now is they will use the collated results, they will go back and know whether they can start feeding it in to rhyme with their manufactured results so that they can tell Nigeria. Because the process is that you cannot collate and announce until you verify and confirm using the beavers, the accredited voters, then the number of votes which beavers recorded, the result. So, but now what they're doing is to use the manually generated collated figures to go and start feeding in the beavers. This is more than 72 hours after the election. And the whole idea of Electoral Act 2022 is that Nigerians will have the result before you start collation. Collation was to be mere formality, just to add the results from different locations, which Nigerians already have, because you have no business transferring results from collation center. No business at all. It's from the polling unit. So there was no election, no presidential election on 25th of February. And it's good that Nigerians should know that. So when INEC is ready, they will conduct a presidential election.
Ken, have you landed now so that we can ask, so that we can engage some of the things you have said? Can you hear me?
Yes. I've landed because I know that you people are going for, so that you can, cross-examine.
Let's start from the process for the election. Don't you think you omitted something very crucial when you were stating the process? For instance, when voting ends in a polling unit and it is counted, the result is entered first of all in a result sheet, right?
Yes.
The next stage is that agents of political party who are at the polling units are giving copies of the result. Then the polling officer proceeds to use the beavers machine to capture the result. And it is what he has captured, which he has given to party agents, that he sends to the portal. Isn't it? Isn't that the process?
Exactly.
So,
it was not
so before
there was a glitch.
So before the result is uploaded, party agents and political parties already have what the result is at polling units. I want to assume,
telling you that the party agents do not have the right to collate. They do not have the right to announce.
Ken, you are not listening to me.
So
Ken, you are not listening to me.
If you remember what I was telling you.
Ken, please, let me ask the question.
From after that, nothing happened again in accordance with the law.
Ken, you have not listened to me.
And so all the results the party agents have is not in any way in tandem with what they are announcing. And it is because they did not do the remaining process at all. So the party agents do not have the right. And they will even tell you, you don't have the right to announce results. They should stop announcing fake results. Meanwhile, they are the ones that have fake results because they did not upload it in the portal. What we are talking now is electronic transmission, not manual. So that hard copy that the agent have, even if he presents it in court, the rule, the law says it has to be made subject to verification on what was uploaded in the beavers before they can even collate and announce. So as long as that announcement, that transmission did not happen in the polling unit, in the eyes of the law, there was no election.
Ken, can I ask a question now? Can I ask a follow-up question? I am sure as a lawyer.
Hello?
Yes, Ken, I'm sure as a lawyer you have been involved in some election petition cases. And you will know that in decided election petition cases, the tribunals and the courts have heard that the foundation for an election petition is anchored on results generated from polling units. I'm sure you are aware of that.
Thank you very much.
That is
not
the
on collation center. Not on collation center. Good.
There
was no result.
Ken, you are not allowing me to ask you questions.
Hello?
You're not allowing me to ask you questions so that you'll be able to answer properly.
Okay, are you asking? Go ahead.
Yes, the question I'm asking is that you are aware that the foundation for anchoring any disputed election in the tribunal is results generated from the polling units, because party agents are giving copies, right? And I assume that because of that, that is why your party, for instance, the Labour Party, had 176,000 polling agents cutting across all the polling agents where election took place or where election was supposed to take place on Saturday. It was for the purposes of them having that primary evidence, which is the results from the polling unit. And it is when your agent has been given that result that the polling officer snaps the result and then forwards it to a porter. So I'm saying that even in the absence of the results from the porter, a political party that wants to know what the result of an election is already has them by collating the results from the polling agents that it has at the polling of units. Let's settle that issue first.
All right. Now, strictly speaking, in law, you would have to tender the evidence, certified through copy of the evidence, because the court will want to be sure that the copy you, the agent, is producing is correct. So even if you have your own copy, INEC has to certify it one way or the other for it to have real force of the law. And now, that was the mischief that the Electoral Act 2022 wanted to solve. So now, what we are saying is that even if the agent presents any copy, the only way to verify it, the only way to confirm its correctness or consistency is by what BVAS recorded. That is the new thing about the Electoral Act. And by what was announced and transferred on the day of election in the polling unit, not collation center. So even if you, the agent, goes to court, the court must take cognizance of the BVAS. So because it was not announced from the polling unit, it was not transferred, it is void ab initio, because there is no room in the law to transfer any result or announce it in the collation center. What you do in collation center is add. That's the only reason for collation center now, not to announce results or this. Then when you have finished adding, that's ceremonial. Before announcing a winner, Nigerians already have it. So by Professor Mahmood, because he's the chief returning officer, not verifying publicly, not confirming, and that is the position of law section 64, subsection 4. Subject to, he said, the collation officer or returning officer shall collate and announce, subject to verification and confirmation with what is recorded in the BVAS, the accredited voters and the votes in the BVAS. So, and he said, if you do it, you are a criminal. It's a criminal offense for which you should send to jail. Now, Professor Mahmood announced a result that he cooked up in front of the whole Nigeria without verifying it, the authenticity, the correctness, and consistency with it, with what is in BVAS. And if he does not do it, he has become an international fool. He has become an international recognizable electoral fraudster by the Electoral Act. So the question is, did he do it? Yes, he announced result without collating and announcing it, subject to verifying and confirming the authenticity with what is in the BVAS. I didn't even see one beavers there. Somebody in the electoral in the collation center pointed out, sir, can you place on your signboard or on your TV, please, what the beavers have, so that you would test the authenticity of this, which none of us, the agent, has, and which we should have. So what I would have had if I was there was the uploaded result by INEC in their iRev and in their portal, which they gave all of us link. So you will now confirm whether what you have is what is being announced, what is being collated. And openly, Professor Mahmood openly disregarded this law. And I was very embarrassed when some senior lawyers
Ken, can you just pause for a moment and
duty then was to uphold the rule of law, to uphold the process of the law, not to tell somebody that is threatening somebody. And that
I don't know whether he has stopped, because he needs to stop talking so that he can listen to the question I want to ask him.
Okay.
If he keeps talking, he won't hear the question.
Sorry,
so I need to know, Ken, are you ready for me to ask you a question now?
Go ahead.
Ken.
Go ahead. I wasn't hearing you before. Go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you.
I just heard
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Let me take you to section 64 that you have been referring to and read it out to you,
Yes.
so that you then respond to it. Are you ready? I'm going to read section 64. I'm going to read section 64, subsection 5 and 6 to you of the Electoral Act.
Subsection 64, subsection 4.
Okay. I will start from 4. I will start from 4.
Oh, the summary.
I will start from 4 because that section doesn't end with 4. So,
Okay,
but I will start from 4.
But before then, sorry, if you can read section 60, subsection 4 and 5 and 6. Section 60, subsection 4, 5 and 6. Read.
All right. I'm on section 60. You say I should read 4 and 5, huh?
Yes, subsection 4, 5, 6.
4, 5, and 6. I'm starting with 4. And the section 60, by the way, is counting of votes and forms. It says the presiding. I'm on 4.
Go ahead. Go ahead to subsection 4 from section 60 so that we don't waste time. Yeah, go ahead. Section 60, subsection 4, 5, 6. Read.
Yes, Ken. Section 60, subsection 4. First of all, before we go, Ken, let me caution you a little bit. Professor Mahmood is not on this platform. He's not on this platform. He's also a public officer. It is not allowed for us to allow you to call a public officer names, particularly when he's not on the same platform with you, to respond. So please, I will enjoin you not to refer to anybody as a criminal or as committing crime. You are not a court of law. You cannot here pronounce somebody a criminal. Is that taken?
Okay. Good. All right. Before I respond to what you're saying, let us read the law first.
I'm just cautioning you so that you don't travel that road again.
Yeah. No, that is what I'm saying. Before I respond, let's read the law first. It is the law.
Please, before we read the law, please listen to me. Listen to me. You cannot lead us to trouble. You are trying to lead us on a path that is not right. Ken, please, first of all, take it back that nobody is a criminal. You have to take that back first before we continue. You have to take it back and apologize before we continue.
First of all, Benga, wait. First of all, and I am talking now as a lawyer, when you catch somebody on doing a crime, by law, you have the right to say this person committed an offense. But the difference is that he will not be sent to jail or penalized except the court says so. That's why I said read the law.
Ken, I insist
If he
that you
committed
cannot.
the crime, I
Ken,
have the right to say he committed the crime.
Ken, I insist that you are not a court of law, and you cannot, you as Ken, a lawyer,
No,
pronounce
what I'm
somebody
saying
a
is that
criminal
did he commit
on the live
crime?
program.
Read the law. Read the law. Read the law. If
You can-
the law,
the-
if
you
the
cannot-
law for what he did, because he did it openly. He
You
did it
cannot,
openly.
you cannot pronounce somebody
So
a criminal
read the law.
by
Read
you
the law. If
acting
you don't
alone
want to
as
read the law,
Ken,
then
an
there's nothing
individual
I can
and a
do.
lawyer.
Yes, you can't tell me to take back the law. Read the law.
I'm
Read
not
the law.
asking you to take back the law. I'm asking you to take back your words calling the INEC chairman
Yeah.
a criminal. Please take that back.
Yeah.
You cannot pronounce him a
Hold
criminal.
on. I said the INEC chairman that he offended section 60, subsection 4(5), and subsection 6 say if you offend such law, you have committed an offense. So what you will do is read.
Is that your
the
position now?
subsections.
Because that would be better. If that is your new position, that is better. But you outrightly pronounce him a criminal in the first instance, which was why I said you have to
No,
take that
I
back.
said if he broke this law, he has become an internationally recognizable electoral fraudster. So what you would
That
do
is even
read
worse.
the law
I don't think
to
I want to
Nigerians.
continue with you along this line, please. I don't think I want to continue with you. If that is your position, I will not continue with you, please. I won't.
okay.
We have another guest here in the studio. Please, let's continue with Barrister Eze Yokere. You cannot. You are a lawyer now. You should know what the law is. We can't proceed with you if you cannot take back what you said, and you are even using worse words, calling somebody internationally recognized fraudster. That's wrong.
Please.
Okay.
I
I think
the law.
There's nothing in the Electoral Act which says Mahmoud Yakub is a criminal or an international fraudster. There's nothing in the law which says that. You are the one saying it. Can we take a break, please, so